Welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today. We're stepping into a high-stakes, almost desert biopunk kind of digital landscape to conduct a cyber investigation unlike any other. We're going to explore how ancient scholars developed a system so incredibly robust it can perfectly filter out the chaotic digital noise of our modern world. So gear up, because we're hunting for the truth. Imagine this for a second. You wake up, you grab your phone, and your local digital feed is just flashing red. A viral alert is spreading like wildfire. The local water supply is polluted and toxic. Panic is starting to set in. But before you rush out to stockpile a mountain of bottled water, you really have to ask yourself a critical question. Do you drink from the tap or do you just assume the worst? How do we actually determine if this is a genuine, life-threatening crisis or just another piece of modern fake news designed to whip up hysteria? Okay, let's dive into this. Consider the stark contrast between two entirely different types of information. On one hand, you have viral data. It's chaotic, it's totally emotion-driven, and often it's completely unverified. It's literally the fake news crisis of the information age, where suddenly everyone claims to be a reliable source. But right counter to that is verified knowledge. This stuff is structured, it's evidence-based, and it's been heavily scrutinized. To survive our modern information fatigue, we absolutely need a reliable framework to transform that chaotic viral data into verified truth. Section 1. The Ancient Verification Algorithm, 1400 Years of Data Science. So to find our epistemological framework, we actually aren't looking to Silicon Valley. No, we're looking way back, 1400 years ago, to Islamic scholars of the 8th century. These guys were essentially the original data scientists. They developed the Hadith terminology and methodology. It's an incredibly rigorous, virtually unbreakable algorithm, originally designed to verify the sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad. Today, we're applying their genius directly to our viral water crisis. For a report to be classified as sahih, meaning completely authentic, it has to pass 5 merciless security checkpoints formulated by brilliant minds like Ibn Hajar. It needs a continuous connection, total integrity, high precision, absolutely no anomalies, and 0 hidden flaws. If our viral water rumor fails even one of these tests, we reject it. Checkpoint 1. Tracing the information chain. Securing the isnad. Look, we can't evaluate a claim until we know exactly how it got to us. The very first condition is that the chain of transmission must be muttasil. This means it's an unbroken chain where every single person, or in our modern case, every digital node, directly receives the data from the person immediately before them. If someone says, "Oh, I heard it from a friend of a friend," well, the chain is broken. It becomes disconnected, and honestly, it fails the test right then and there. So let's trace our viral water alert backwards through its isnad, or its chain of transmission. At 8 a.m., user C shared the alert to our feed. We look a little closer and see user C actually got it from a screenshot posted by user B at 7:45 a.m. Digging even deeper, we find the origin node, user A, who made the original claim at 7:30 a.m. Boom. We've successfully traced an unbroken chain straight back to the source. The report easily passes checkpoint 1. Checkpoints 2 and 3. Profiling the source, testing integrity and precision. Now, passing that first checkpoint just means we know exactly who started the rumor, our buddy, user A. But now we have to figure out if they're actually worth listening to. Checkpoint 2 requires the source to have adl, which basically translates to integrity and moral uprightness. Is user A an upstanding citizen known around their community for telling the truth? Or does their digital footprint reveal they're just a troll who posts sensational lies for clicks? If they lack moral integrity, the rumor literally dies right here. But hey, let's say user A is a highly honest, generally good person. That brings us to checkpoint 3, dabit, or precision. You see, good intentions are absolutely not enough. The reporter has to be scientifically and factually precise, with a flawless memory. If they're honest, but, notoriously forgetful, or they're prone to wild exaggeration, their data is compromised. We really have to test user A's precision regarding this water claim. And this brilliantly illustrates how precision connects directly to actual science and law. In the Islamic fiqh, or jurisprudence regarding water purity, a massive body of water isn't considered impure just because someone thinks it looks a little funny. The rules explicitly state the water must have actually changed in color, taste, or smell due to a specific impurity. So we have to ask, did user A actually measure these sensory changes precisely, or did they just see a harmless shadow in the reservoir and totally panic? Without Dobbit, without that strict precision, the report is incredibly weak. Checkpoint 4. Filtering for anomalies, the consensus protocol. All right, let's give user A the absolute benefit of the doubt here and say they're honest and usually pretty precise. Now we've got to filter for anomalies to see if their claim contradicts established evidence. In Hadith terminology, this is called shadh, which means an anomaly or an irregularity. This happens when a reporter who seems completely reliable on their own ends up directly contradicting a much larger, more established, and equally reliable group of people. In data science, just like in ancient verification, context is everything. You just cannot view one data point in a total vacuum. Let's apply this to a classic scenario derived straight from the verification sciences. Suppose 6 citizens go out to test the exact same water supply at the exact same time. 5 of these citizens report back that the water is completely pure, unchanged in color, taste, or smell. But one citizen, our user A, reports that it is highly toxic. Because user A's report contradicts the overwhelming consensus of a much larger, reliable group, their report is declared shadh. It's an anomalous outlier, and under the algorithm, this is where the water rumor begins to fatally break down. Checkpoint 5. Hunting for hidden flaws, the deep scan. So we've reached the climax of our investigation. We're doing a deep scan to uncover what isn't visible on the surface. Now, ask yourself this. What if the chain of transmission looks absolutely perfect? What if the reporter seems perfectly honest, highly precise, and there are absolutely no immediate contradictions? Could a completely fake rumor still slip through the cracks? The answer is yes. And that is exactly why the deepest vulnerabilities require expert sleuths to uncover. This kind of hidden vulnerability is called an illah. It's a severe, deeply concealed flaw in a chain or a text that appears, at first glance, completely authentic. Early scholars were basically master detectives at finding these. For example, they could analyze a chain and spot a hidden flaw where a reporter claimed to hear a quote from the companion Ibn Omar, when the scholars knew, based on historical travel dates, that the reporter actually heard it from Abu Huraira. Spotting an illah requires some truly masterful expertise. So, the crucial point is how this actually applies to our modern water crisis. We run a deep background check on user A. On the surface, they look like a concerned, honest citizen, but our deep scan uncovers a huge plot twist. User A is secretly receiving financial sponsorships from a competing bottled water corporation. I mean, wow. That hidden financial motive is the Allah. It's a fatal, hidden flaw that completely, utterly destroys the validity and the objectivity of their rumor. The final verdict, classifying the data. The investigation is complete. Because our viral rumor about the toxic water suffered from anomalies, lacked scientific precision, and harbored a fatal hidden flaw of financial bias, it spectacularly failed the security checkpoints. It is officially classified as mawdu'. In the science of a hadith, this means the report is fabricated, forged, or just unequivocally fake news. By applying this exact methodology, we've protected the public from unnecessary panic and completely debunked the crisis. This whole journey brings us to a profoundly powerful quote from the early scholar Abdullah bin al-Mubarak, who famously said, "The isnad, the chain of transmission, is part of the religion. If not for the isnad, anyone would say whatever they want." This just brilliantly ties 1,400 years of epistemological wisdom directly to our modern screens. Without a system to demand proof of sources, anyone on the internet can, and definitely will, say whatever they want. Which leaves us with one final thought. We've just seen how a methodology engineered by 8th century scholars can perfectly deconstruct and debunk a modern viral panic. The tools for navigating the information age, they've been with us all along. So, the next time your feed flashes red with breaking news, how will you filter it tomorrow? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, stay rigorous, and I'll catch you next time.